They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe! That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
Fantasy Sports puts you in control of your own team. The Nick Bonsanto Show is proud to present the Star Fantasy
Stand
League
by to
Show.
kick butt.
Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, co-hosted by SFL CEO Zach Stanley and SFL COO Seth Young. The Star Fantasy League Show, on the air
Make this game your finest hour.
now.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO Zach Stanley.
I am Zach Stanley, and I'm sitting next to the Fool.
Oh, well, he doesn't even get a berate.
Which Fool? The Fantasy Fool.
Ah, the Fantasy Fool. That's the best way I've heard introduced Mr. COO of StarFantasyLeagues.com, Seth Young.
Well, I'm back from Tbilisi. It was a wonderful trip.
Wait, is that in Game of Thrones? Is that a place in Game of Thrones?
I don't know. It's in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Like the country, not the state.
I figured you just made that. Okay, so you're touring Eastern Europe now.
Georgia is in Asia.
Is it really?
I think it sounded like Khaleesi.
Yeah.
Tbilisi.
Khaleesi's the character.
Tbilisi is the
I don't
capital
watch-
of Georgia.
I'm
It's a very
gonna-
interesting place, by the way.
It's embarrassing. I don't actually watch Game of Thrones. I'm too much invested in other reality-based
you're missing out.
reality-based
Yes,
television.
I'm
we won't
touring
talk
Eastern
about.
Europe, and I ended up in Asia.
That's a little weird. Guys, can we bring this around every time? It's either we talk about Seth's travels or we talk about how cold it is. By the way, how cold is it in Rochester, New York? Shout out to the team.
It's absolutely freezing. It's in the teens pretty much every day. There's going to be a little warm spell on Saturday when it rises up to 30, and then it's going to go down to the teens again.
Yes,
Oh.
it's as cold as Zach's run in fantasy sports right now.
Wow,
That
shots
doesn't-
fired,
that
guys.
doesn't make sense.
No, it's no.
Thank you for bringing that up. Wrong piece of information.
Seth, I understand that you've been doing pretty okay with daily fantasy basketball on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Is that correct?
Pretty okay is not the word, John.
Huh?
It's fantastic.
Okay. Seth's going to break down his lab coming up after the break. We got Jonathan's mailbag today, and of course, we're breaking down NBA Friday. What's better than that, guys?
I'm pumped. I can't wait to talk some NBA.
I agree. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Nice open.
So you're sporting a brand new pre-owned GM vehicle.
You can play fantasy sports like football, basketball, hockey, and baseball and earn cold hard cash every single day. It's legal, it's brand new, and it's awesome. At StarFantasyLeagues.com, you can play your favorite fantasy sport for real money against real people, or even play the Star Fantasy League's free tournaments for your chance to win something for nothing. Put your money where your mouth is. Prove your expertise. Get your game on today at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Nick Monsanto is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show.
Let's do this.
Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
Yeah.
That is right, Mr. Cageman. It is time for NBA lineup breakdown for Thursday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. And since Seth is so confident in his lineup, I figured, again, we're going to have you break down your lineup. We are going to, Zach and I are going to critique you. And by critique you, we mean smash you.
I just would like to say that we got the guy in the cage a new game today.
Hold on. Better than Jenga?
He has Scrabble in there, and he's playing the loneliest game of Scrabble I've ever seen.
What? Can we just let him talk? Can we let him talk on the show?
Stop it, Scott.
There's no way it's better than Jenga.
There's
Stop
nothing
whining.
Well. Oh, my goodness. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger on the show today.
No, he just emailed in that sound clip.
Oh, I see.
That's all he wanted to say.
Well, I'm ready to break down my lineup for you guys. I have another winner tonight. My lineups the past couple nights have been kicking Butte.
Wrong.
And, come on.
you had to see that coming, Seth. Come on.
And I have to say, I largely attribute my success to the two of you and your expertise on the show. You've been giving me great advice. And
Well, that I can't say wrong to because that's
It's
accurate.
amazing how much I bring him down a notch. Like, I do it as often as I can, and he still has
He
nice
still
things to
loves
say
you.
about me.
You know, I think our listeners probably feel the same way if they're listening to the things that we're talking about, especially, with me learning. I feel like people might be learning with me. My lineups have been doing well, and I've been really avoiding the right people and picking the right people, and it's because of what you guys
part
know.
of it.
And I'm impressed because you're usually such a slow learner.
Come on, I'm a sponge.
For those of you who don't listen and haven't been learning about StarFantasyLeagues.com and daily fantasy sports, $100,000 salary cap for basketball, 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers, 2 utility, any player you want. All you got to do is stay under that $100,000 salary cap. You get the most points, you win the most money. It's pretty easy to do.
And
Unless
someday
you're
you
Seth.
might just be able to win $100,000.
You never know.
Thank you for throwing that random number out there.
You never know.
Welcome to StarFantasyLeagues.com.
So let me
No,
start.
that's not true.
Come on. Let me start my lineup with a guy who's been in my lineup the past couple nights when he's been playing, and that's Aaron Brooks. Ty Lawson is still out. He is Aaron Brooks is priced at just over $5,000 in Star Fantasy Leagues. And for some context, the minimum salary is $3,000. Usually our highest salary for a player is probably about $24,000 for just a fantasy
whatever
stud.
Kevin Durant is.
Right, or Kevin Love or somebody
That's
like that.
true.
So Aaron Brooks in my lineup, he's usually, at that price, he's definitely going to make value every night. Drafting a player like this gives me room to put in bigger name players or players with a higher price tag who are going to get me more points usually. So I like Aaron Brooks, and I'm sure you guys are going to agree.
Yep, I have absolutely no problem. Tonight, only a 4-game slate. That means you got to get your value in, and there's very few people to choose from a value standpoint tonight.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way around putting in Aaron Brooks. He's an absolute must. I'm hoping that you have another guy that I'm looking at that's valuable, but we'll see.
Well, I actually feel like I did a pretty good job with my lineup tonight, getting in some
You
players.
see this every
Well,
I did a
I'm
great
pretty
job.
confident in my lineup. I got in some players who are some big names and who really put up some points. And my next player who you talked about yesterday is Dwayne Wade. And we're expecting Dwayne Wade to go off against the Knicks tonight. Even if it's a blowout, he's going to make his value. He was priced pretty moderately at $15,000, just over $15,000. Yeah, thank you, Arnold. And what do you guys think about that pick?
I think that's solid. Obviously he was my play of the night for tonight.
Yes, do you think that's solid, Zach? Be Seth. Waiver. Go against your play of the day and say, no, he's not a good value.
Come on.
He's the best player.
Flip-flop it as much as I can.
He's one of the best players on the board. I made 2 lineups. One included D-Wade. One was centered around D-Wade. One I went a different way with Lowry.
Yeah, D-Wade has
instead.
dominated both games that he's played the Knicks with LeBron. Obviously, he's played really well with LeBron out. But who knows how much of a factor he'll be tonight, although he does love to play the Knicks.
This is very true. It's one of those big games, assuming this one's the one on TV. Right?
I actually saw that LeBron's shooting percentage when he used to have the mask on was better in Cleveland than it was when he didn't.
That's a really random stat.
That is a very thank you, Elias Sports
Hey,
Bureau.
I was interested. I was looking at it tonight and I was like, should I put in the masked man?
You
He's
see what D-Wade
really
had to
expensive.
say about LeBron with the mask?
No, I didn't.
He looks like LeBron with a mask, just 30 pounds heavier than the last time he wore it. Dropping
Wrong.
knowledge all day. That's what he said.
No, I don't agree.
So let me
That's
move on.
false.
Let me talk about the Pacers Bucks game tonight, and everybody's really expecting the Pacers to win. I got a couple guys in this game that I think are probably going to reach value. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about.
It's 50-50 at halftime now, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah. This is a game. 50-50.
Oh, I thought you said 15-50. I was like,
No,
that's
this is
not
a game.
possible.
So I've got Paul George in my lineup tonight, and I also have Ersan Ilyasova, Ersan Minnesota.
There you go.
I mean,
Ersan, Minnesota.
I
Thank
know
you,
who's
Seth.
almost as tempting as Paul George? Boy George.
Come on, man.
That's for a different listenership.
So-
wrong radio show, Zach.
I put in Ersan really because the Bucks are super thin right now, and Ersan had a massive game last time he played. So I thought he was a pretty good pick. I'm wondering what you think.
I completely disagree with this pick. I had no interest in picking anyone on this team tonight. I thought there was a chance that O.J. Mayo might produce tonight because Caron Butler just got bought out.
Yep, he's gone.
But
Giannis could produce tonight.
Yeah, somebody's going to have a game. But what does that mean to me? I don't know.
Nate Walters was good for 3 games and then has had like 8 fantasy points
Brandon
combined.
Knight a couple games ago played Indiana and had like 35 points and 10 assists or something like that.
That team is
But
so
frustrating.
frustrating.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Especially against the best defense in the league. If they get blown out, who plays? If they keep it close, who plays? It's a really difficult stretch.
Boo, Larry Drew.
So you're saying you would have avoided anybody on the Bucks playing the Pacers?
I'm not saying that. I did.
Yeah,
I did actually avoid them.
I completely agree. I have nobody from Milwaukee in my lineup.
Oh, no, I have Brandon Knight in.
Oh, well.
I actually thought at 13,000 he was a reasonable value tonight, and I also wanted to fit LeBron in. So
what about on the Pacers then? Are you looking at that team as a team that you can pick players from?
I think Lance Stevenson, Paul George. I think David West and Hibbert were both options tonight.
I have 2 of those guys.
Yeah,
I have David West and Paul George. I felt like for their value, Paul George is my favorite big money guy tonight. I just felt like he could get his value through 3 quarters. He's just going to smash on them. They're about 27th, 28th against the position.
Yeah, like I said, they played a couple games ago. George went off. Stevenson had a great game. West had one of his best games
West
of the year.
West has been on an absolute
he has
tear
been
in the
playing
last
very
week.
well in
I'm
limited
loving it.
minutes too, which is just because he's older.
I have David West in my lineup tonight, and I had some trouble, actually. This was a tough night because it's a 4-game slate. It's smaller than usual, and you have to fit players in who you may or may not necessarily be totally confident in. And Ersan was really the best value player. He was the last player I picked for my team.
What's his value on StarFantasyLeagues.com?
He was just over 13,000 on
Ersan?
StarFantasyLeagues.com. I believe so, yeah.
No. Was he really? He's gotten up that high?
I think he's gotten pretty high.
He's had
I don't
some
know if he's
really-
that high.
No, I think he's like 10 or 11.
He's been stringing together some really good games, and I just couldn't sit him. I mean, my other options were pretty limited, and I wanted to put him in. But David West and Paul George, I thought would be producing tonight. So moving on, I put in Marcin Gortat on the Wizards.
He was a guy I was just going to suggest if you said for around that price point. Yeah, I love Mercy tonight, especially against Toronto. Amir's been hurting. Valanciunas has been subpar. Like, he plays good defense, but he just hasn't really done much.
Yeah, on one of these lower game nights, you really only have 2 options. It's to build a really rounded team as round as possible, or put in some of the really high guys hoping they absolutely go off.
Yeah, you're hoping for 2 or 3 guys to go over 45 points.
Right,
tonight.
like you can have a lineup when it's a big night with a ton of games that looks like it's not rounded, but you have so many good value plays that are out there because so many teams are playing that you can still have a really positive lineup while having some big guys in there. It's a little more difficult on these shorter slate nights.
Tonight I have a really rounded team. My highest guy is Paul George at 17,800, which is normally not how you do it. Usually if you got a guy about 19, 20,000, you have your one stud, but I got 2 guys, Kyle Lowry and Paul George, at 17,000.
Yeah, if this was a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday night, you
This
wouldn't be
wouldn't
picking
happen.
Paul George at that price.
No, not at all.
I have a guy on my team, and I have to be honest, I'm really not sure why I drafted him.
I thought you were going to say you're not sure who he is. I would have loved that.
I'm looking for some feedback, but I put in Terrence Ross tonight, and he's really the pick I'm the least confident in, mostly because I don't know anything about him. But he, through the half has been putting up a couple of points, and I'm wondering why he's a relevant pick tonight.
Well, I really don't think he is, honestly. Since DeMar DeRozan's come back, his production's been down. He's a bench player. He's a guy who went for 50 points because DeMar DeRozan wasn't there. Lowry, I think, was out.
He's a guy that's capable of producing on any given night, but you're not going to get any consistency out of him unless somebody is missing in that lineup.
Yeah, that's true. He's not somebody you can consistently look at. It's just.
But I would say on a night like this, if you're looking at him and he has solid value, there's a decent chance he'll get some points, especially in a game that could end up being high scoring.
Yeah, he was right under $8,000 for salary, and he actually made room for my last guy, which is Chris Bosh.
You didn't have Trevor Booker instead?
I was thinking about putting in Trevor Booker, but Trevor Booker, I was reading,
he's the only big man.
He's more of a defensive player.
It's true.
And he doesn't really put up too many points on offense.
Were you reading that, or did I tell you that last night?
I think it was
Did you say
told
that
last night.
I was also reading that, so obviously it's true. But yeah, I picked Chris Bosh tonight as my last player at center. I really think you were hurting starting in way of big men. I didn't want to start anybody on Toronto.
No Tyson Chandler instead?
And I was thinking about Tyson Chandler, but I was really between Tyson Chandler and Chris Bosh.
All right, so Zach, what do you think of his lineup overall?
The man is learning.
He is learning. Terrence Ross is his little standout there. I'm not really sure. We'll see how that goes on Friday's show. But coming up after the break, it's Giles mailbag time, guys.
Mailbag.
Come on. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Are you?
$473-0563.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Zach, and Seth. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy Leagues team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That is right. You're not supposed to tweet us, according to Seth, according to Scott, our producer, according to everyone who's not, Zach or myself.
Yeah, I really want people to tweet us because they don't
tweet us.
Which means there's probably like Judge Judy's listening at least, but I think that's about it.
You know what? I actually think Judge Judy got upset that Seth told her not to tweet, and she kind of went away from us.
Nobody cares about our listeners' tweets.
Wow, you are just you're a mean human being.
I'm going to have to call Judith after the show.
I don't want to hear from these people. What do you mean these people?
They're not tweeting you. They're tweeting us because we actually know what we're talking about.
Wrong.
There you go.
Apparently,
You
Arnold.
just almost dissed yourself by doing
No,
that.
you said you, not me.
I
I'm
said
not
we. I said we.
Whatever. You and Seth. That's fine. All right, let's get to Jonathan's mailbag.
Mailbag time.
Thank you, Seth. We're starting off with Pete Carroll. It looks like my Super Bowl winning quarterback, Russell Wilson, is going to suit up for the Texas Rangers. Should I be worried? Is this, what's with these quarterbacks who want to play baseball for a living?
Maybe he'll quit the Seahawks now because he sees some bad things coming.
Okay, you're going to make another Reggie Sanders comment, Zach? Do we know who Reggie Sanders is yet?
Seth said he started KFC.
Yeah, that's the guy that started the KFC.
That's not right.
All right, we all know it was Deion Sanders, but Reggie Sanders was a baseball player at the same time when I just got confused for a second.
Deion
I'm
Sanders
sure.
didn't start KFC. What?
You are the worst.
Sometimes listening to you talk just hurts.
But seriously, they said Ron Washington, manager of Texas Rangers, said he's not going to put Russell Wilson in harm's way. He's just going to let him hang out in the dugout and be part of the team. Why? What is the point of this?
I really don't like any. Honestly, these athletes that are okay at their opposing sports, but they're never going to be a professional at the sports. Jameis Winston is one thing, and some of the players that were drafted. I mean, Russell Wilson was drafted.
He was
at one
drafted
point, wasn't he?
whatever the Rule 5, whatever
right,
that
but,
is.
But whatever. I really don't care. And in some cases, like the whole LeBron thing, when that wouldn't stop with him being on the Browns, was a mockery.
Yeah, he's like, I could return kicks. Shut up, LeBron.
I could play tight end.
Yeah,
Was he really talking about that?
Yeah,
I missed that
they had
entire thing.
they had a commercial with a jersey of him. They did of him in the Browns jersey.
Wow, that's just incredible.
I mean, he is a Mack truck, but do we know if he has any clue how to play football?
I mean,
Probably
Sports
not.
Center does
Probably
spend
does.
half of every show talking about him. So
You know what? Let's spend the entire next 20 minutes talking about LeBron James.
We
Wait,
should.
let's not do that.
Want
Let's
to
move
talk
on.
about Jason Collins instead?
No, we talked about him for 2 minutes.
for all
and
you
moved
complain
on.
about it, you bring it up every show.
By the way, I would like to mention
Oh
we're talking about the Raymond Felton thing. By the way, is getting way too much attention for what it is. I don't know why the Ray Rice stuff and even Darren Sharper isn't getting more attention than Raymond.
You really
Felton's
think the
thing.
Raymond Felton thing is getting more attention than Ray Rice?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a function of just the market that he's in. I think being in New York, it's really just sort of.
I think for the first time in your life, you checked out ESPN on The Office, saw Raymond Felton, and thought that was all the news that was going
that's
on.
all I hear about is Raymond Felton's gun charge, and it's just. I feel like it was just not. It's just not news.
Yeah, it's totally yesterday's news.
Stop whining.
I think that's an appropriate time to move on, guys. Russell Westbrook writes, I have nowhere to turn, so I decided to email the show again. After going 0-3 since my return, Thunder fans are calling for my head. What do I do? 0-3, is this the biggest overreaction in the history of, overreacting for fans?
Yeah, that is about how I feel.
Okay,
about
they lost 3 games at home. That's the big deal here. But 2 of them were to Miami and the Clippers, who are title contenders.
Here's the thing that I've never been impressed with about Russell Westbrook. And honestly, I had a huge gripe about this while Kevin Durant was developing as a player because I felt like it was really hindering him.
I
mean, there were
completely agree.
so many games throughout the course of the last couple seasons. You can count them on well more than your hand where Russell Westbrook was taking more shots than Kevin Durant in a game. And I also don't think I know I had a little tongue twister there.
Again.
And I also think that his defense is pretty awful.
Okay, would this team be an instant title contender if Rajon Rondo replaced Russell Westbrook?
Absolutely. Kevin Durant is a shooter, and he needs the ball in his hands. And Russell Westbrook just wants the ball too much. To be successful, he also needs to be shooting it. I just don't think it meshes together.
Would you say there's been a thunderous opposition to Westbrook's return?
Disregard
and maybe
it.
they need
Disregard
to
it.
catch some lightning in the bottle?
Disregard
I
it.
really wish Arnold was here right now so he could say wrong. Again,
Wrong.
you are just your
Arnold-
things you
Arnold
say.
left.
Yeah, Arnold's in the cage hanging out
He's
with Jenga.
upset.
I mean,
Jenga
usually
Man.
you feel like Westbrook and Durant together would be a perfect storm.
No,
but
you really wouldn't. I don't understand where people are getting this from. He's not a pass first point guard. He never has been.
I know this is a bad example because Chris Paul is on the Clippers, and so that's already worked out really well, and you don't want anybody else there. But if Chris Paul wasn't on the Clippers, I could see Russell Westbrook in that type of situation just because Blake takes it down low. Blake's in for the rebounds. He's the other star on the team. But Kevin Durant, it's like LeBron. I mean, it's like Kobe. He needs the ball. He needs somebody that is feeding him the ball in the right spots, not just darting to the rack and running down the court and jacking up threes because he thinks he's going to hit one.
do you think that Russell Westbrook would be a good compliment to Thaddeus Young on the Sixers?
Where are you on the
I don't even
Sixers?
know where you come off talking about these things.
I'm just asking.
That's a stupid question because, first off, Thad Young's not going to be on the 76ers within the next year. He's going to go somewhere else. They're not rebuilding around Thad Young. He's going to be a compliment on a different team.
And so who are they trading for?
Yeah.
What are you even talking
All
about?
right, you guys, you need to stop whining. Stop whining! You guys done? All right. Moving on. Jonathan Martin writes, this will be good. Richie Incognito allegedly took a baseball bat and smashed up his Ferrari. Will this news finally paint Incognito as the crazed madman he is? Hold on. Seth, you'll like this. This was a TMZ story.
Excellent. Why would he smash up his Ferrari with a baseball bat?
Seth actually reported that story.
Did he?
Yeah, he just got hired by TMZ.
Hold on. You went down there and took the Oh, was that why he was on vacation?
Yes.
He took the picture
He just
himself?
got hired by TMZ.
Seth,
Part-time job.
You took a job with
Congratulations.
TMZ?
Why are we talking about this? I thought we were talking about Richie Incognito.
I thought we should tell everyone about it.
I don't want to be grouped in with those people.
You read it all the time.
Yeah, so it's your
That's
favorite
why they
website.
hired you.
All right, Seth Young's favorite website is TMZ. This is not a joke. He loves it. He reads it every day in the office and then has no shame.
Have you ever watched the TMZ TV show?
Nope.
I think the blonde dude on that show is one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life.
That might be the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, so anytime you want to watch some really funny TV, just look up the blonde dude.
Look up the blonde dude.
He's super enthusiastic about celebrities.
Here's what I have to say. This whole story
is ridiculous.
And has been awful. It's gone on so long, and this is the cherry on top of the whole thing, because this does confirm that this guy is completely off and has some major issues that he deals with. I mean, was he trying to make news by doing this?
Well, what you didn't mention with this story is that he was in his house, sitting in his bathroom, crying, looking at the mirror, saying, "I just wanted to destroy something beautiful."
What movie is this? Isn't that from a movie?
I think it's from the what is it from? Yeah, it's from Fight Club.
Is it?
Yeah, it is from Fight Club.
Well,
we definitely need to get a cricket sound. Because Seth's jokes are so freaking bad.
Yeah, you guys are listening to the Star Fantasy League show. You guys, tweet us at SFL Show if you figure out we've learning to put drops in this show. We're learning to put stupid things. Well, Arnold actually came by today to speak into the microphone, but we've actually learned how to put drops in. So tweet us at SFL Show. Or go to starfantasyleagues.com and send us some.
Don't tweet
us. Yeah. Hashtag Seth Stop Talking.
Yeah, that's Seth Stop Whining should be the hashtag.
Tweet us. Nobody wants it.
All right, Zach, you're going to like this next one. I think this is directed at you. Oh, it is.
Specifically?
Yeah, Mike D'Antoni writes, I heard Zach was trash talking me on the show, so I wanted to get his take on me calling out Pau Gasol. He called him out in the media after Pau called out Mike D'Antoni in the media for saying he's being a terrible leader or whatever. And then Mike D'Antoni said, that should be behind closed doors. But he said it to the media. So is this the dumbest?
Did Pau say it to the media too?
Yeah.
Well, listen, you know how much I despise Mike D'Antoni as a coach.
Do you? Apparently even Mike D'Antoni
The guy
knows.
literally made a living off of Steve Nash running the pick and roll. That's all that that's why his career jumped off.
But that mustache.
Okay, I don't care. I just do not care. We should get a picture of D'Antoni's stash and put it on the wall.
I think our video guy Jason could probably do that.
The best thing that Mike D'Antoni has done this year,
is
which he didn't do, was get Kent Bazemore. Because at least there's some sign of life on the Lakers right now.
Bazemore got most of his points in garbage time last night.
That doesn't matter.
Stop that. He's actually looked
He's had a couple
decent.
good games, and he's still very, very young.
Yeah, the biggest thing that came out of this was out of this interview or whatever. I guess he was just speaking to the media. He said they're going to continue to play small ball the rest of the season. I don't know what the two have to do with each other, but that's a great thing for fantasy because Chris Kamen's basically done if they play small ball.
Yeah, I mean,
do
the Lakers really have much of another option than playing small ball?
I mean, Kaman and Gasol together is not small ball.
Both? Oh, my Lord.
Maybe we'll see Robert Sacre get some playing time.
He's not small.
No,
That's
I know,
not small
but
ball.
If Chris Kamen's not going to play, maybe Sacre will play.
No, it's not. Okay, Seth. Small ball means at center you're playing somebody like a Chris Bosh who's technically a power forward, but he's a quick guy who really plays the perimeter. You're not actually putting in a big guy who plays down low.
So we're just going to see Robert Sacre continue to dance then.
Seth, I didn't have a headache before we started this show. I didn't have one then.
Oh, man. Okay, let's move on to the final question for John Alt's mailbag today. Mean. I love this story so much that I need to get it in here. Father Mohagan writes, did you hear that Ravens safety Matt Elam has been working at Foot Locker in the offseason?
Really?
Tough times in the NFL.
Why?
Okay, what he claims, he's working 20 hours a week in a mall near his hometown in Florida because he wants to eventually open up like his own sports apparel store. So he's getting actual on-the-job training and trying to like understand how to do it. But he made $3.7 million last season.
You know what?
He said, I don't know how much I made doing it. I just wanted to do it and experience it.
Well, Shaq didn't need to become a doctor.
or a police officer.
Or a police officer.
I have to say that's the first time I'm hearing about this. And I have to respect that. You know, a man who's going to start at the bottom and really learn all the jobs that he needs to be doing.
It does remind me of
retail.
Shaq. It does. I mean, this is the type of guy, what it seems like anyway, is going to go to his grave saying, I did all the crap I wanted to do.
Well, Shaq is clearly doing exactly what he wants to do. If you ever watch NBA TV,
he does what? Yeah, no, he's on TNT.
And on NBA TV
oh my
once
goodness.
in a while.
He enjoys everything he does. He's a complete clown. Remember the thing he did with the Jabberwockies at All-Star Weekend where he was dancing with them?
I have to say though, the Jason Elam thing, that's really cool. I mean, I'm definitely all for.
It's Matt Elam, not the kicker for the Denver Broncos. Jason Elam. He's a rookie.
What did I say?
You said Jason Elam. He's a kicker.
I meant Matt Elam.
It's okay. Things happen. Matt Elam, good on you for giving back to the community. Just working, just experience.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It's cool. And coming back, we're going to break down Friday NBA on StarFantasyLeagues.com. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
So you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Nick Monsanto Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
You're up.
As Seth always likes to say, don't contact us. Seriously, we don't like mail.
Well, I don't agree, and I really want the people to reach out to me because I am lonely.
Thank you, Scott.
Even Scott, our producer, still hates Twitter just as much as Seth does, even though he's not the one answering our
That's
millions of
because he's
tweets.
at least 104 years old.
I'm pretty sure Scott is not 104 years old. I don't know where you
105.
Oh. Well, he's close.
Well, he just chimed in for our listeners. You can't hear him, but he's in our ear. He said
Yes, you
100.
can
Scott,
actually
what
hear
was it
them on
like
the air,
working on the
so.
pyramids?
Oh, you can?
Yeah, of course you can hear him on the air. You are just Seth. You don't know how radio works, do you?
I have
do you know
no idea.
Do you know we're in a studio where our voices go out
Says
to
the
millions
guy
of people?
who has no idea what day it is half the time.
That is actually true. Today is Thursday, correct? I actually thought it was Wednesday this morning, and I got really upset that it was Hump Day.
Hump day.
It turns out it's not. But you know what tomorrow is, Zach?
It's Friday.
It's NBA Friday, which is...
I love NBA Friday. One, because there's so many games. The weekend's coming in. I'm getting excited. And we got 2 games on ESPN.
You know what's even better for Friday? The fact that Seth Young will not be on the Star Fantasy League show.
Yeah, where are you going tomorrow?
I'm going to our friends in the north, up to Canada.
To Canada? You're going to Canasta.
I'm going to Canada.
I thought you said Canasta.
For some poutine and gravy.
Oh.
That's actually true. We're not screwing around with our listeners. He's actually going to Canada. This is not a joke. We will have Nick Sablenko back on the show tomorrow.
Through Wednesday.
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be gone through Wednesday.
Yeah, we're on the air. The Star Fantasy League show is on the air 5 days a week now. We're doing this every day. I think we're getting better at this.
It means I can finally get some oxygen since you'll be gone.
Yeah, you can get some oxygen when I'm gone. Well, I'm gone in Canada.
I'm convinced that there must be laughing gas in here because we can't speak English. We don't know what's going on. But that makes for
blithering fools.
Yeah, that makes for the best radio. I think Arnold screwed everybody up, didn't he?
It was Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold. I'm sorry, Arnold, but you've been retired for this show. All right, let's break down NBA Friday. Seth, are you going to sit in your corner for this, or do you do a little research?
You guys do your thing, and I'll chime in where relevant.
All right, great. So we talked about today. Thursday's 4-game slate. Tomorrow we got 7 games, which is a little bit more to choose from. Tell us the differences between a 4 and a 7-game slate from a daily fantasy standpoint.
I would like to tell you the difference real quick before you chime in.
Is this going to be a joke?
No.
Okay.
It's 3 games.
Okay. I always get let down whenever I assume he's not telling a joke.
You totally let him have that one, and you could have stopped it. I don't even know how to respond anymore. There's a lot that you can look at when there gets to be more games. There's so much more research to be done. I think it's easier for somebody like Seth to narrow things down when there's only a few games because he doesn't have to look at all that much. Honestly, it's easier for beginners, even though it's sometimes harder to create a really good lineup. When you get to look at a few games early on and you're starting to practice your research techniques, it's good to look at the smaller game amounts. And honestly, 7 isn't that big.
Yeah, 7. It's usually about 10 or 11.
I think tomorrow would be pretty ideal for beginners because not only do you get a good selection, but there aren't an overwhelming amount of games.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think when what really started kicking me off and really teaching me how I can do my research and where to look and how to get better. The nights with the short slates like Tuesday and Thursday for NBA are a great place to start because I get familiar with the teams that are playing. I understand more what I'm looking for and I'm able to track the games more easily. As a novice, not so much a novice anymore.
You stop that. You're still pretty much a novice.
But it's easier for sure. But a game like Friday, 7 games is also, it's a lot. I mean, there are 14 teams. There are a lot of people to look at. But it's baby steps. I mean, you have to start somewhere. I definitely recommend starting at the free games on starfantasyleagues.com before you get your feet under you. And when you do, get in the action with some cash.
Yeah, that is true. We got $10 free roll tomorrow, every other day 10 except Tuesday and Thursday, which are $50 free rolls sponsored by Rotor Experts.
And today we officially launched Turbo Contest.
This is true. We spoke about that quickly. Turbo Contest is 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center instead of 8 players. A little bit less to look at. Do a little bit less research if you're in a hurry. That's why it's called the Turbo Game.
Actually, I completely disagree. I took a look at the Turbo Games today because it was so exciting to launch it, and I think they require just as much research. The salaries are different because you have 5 players to choose from and still a $100,000 salary cap. So things change a little bit. You still have to do the same amount of research.
That's what I thought about it. Is that it still requires a ton of research. And you might be able to make a lineup quicker once you get that research done, but you still have to be just as, if not more, selective.
I think it's awesome.
I completely agree. I had a lot of fun testing it. Our programmers did a great job implementing it really quickly. It's a great new game.
The software and technology that we're working on right now, all the different design aspects, features, and contests. This is what I get to do is help these guys build this stuff, and it is so much fun.
And it's continuing every day. Innovation station. That's the word.
Fantasy sports are evolving.
Let's get into it. There's obviously one glaring game on the Friday schedule that we have to go towards first.
The Bills.
No. It's clearly Chicago-Dallas, right? Oh, wait,
Spring training
Not
games.
a chance. No, it's Sacramento at the Lakers tomorrow. The big glaring issue from this game is DeMarcus Cousins got himself ejected the other day by punching someone in the stomach.
Did you get to see this?
He hit him in the stomach and then hit him again.
You saw the video?
Yeah.
Was he throwing blows?
No, it wasn't a blow. Patrick Beverley basically went by him on a screen and he kind of
hit him.
He hit him in the stomach. And then he got tossed out, and then he berated a referee again.
Cousins, what are you doing picking on Patrick Beverley?
I don't think he knows.
That poor little guy.
He's very small.
I have a bone to pick with you, DeMarcus Cousins. I had you as my stud in my lineup that night.
He would have been fine if he didn't get himself tossed.
You managed to get yourself tossed.
Yes, he did. And he's out for tomorrow. And if he gets one more technical in the next game, he's out another game.
It's for a guy that can produce so much, and honestly, I've been talking about him a couple times on this show. about how solid he has been this year, and he's managed to get himself together a little bit.
Yeah, we did talk about that like last week.
Yeah, he can just go
him.
completely off the handle, and you have to worry about a guy that not only can foul out, but also just get ejected at random.
This is not at random. He just
Is he the new Ron Artest?
Yeah, he might be. He's crazy.
Maybe. I just can't see him going into the stands and throwing
but
punches.
that's Ron Artest was pretty well known for getting technical.
Meta World punch.
He's the new Rasheed Wallace. We'll say that. Rasheed Wallace used to get tossed all the time for doing nothing.
Yeah, that is a good example.
Okay, but let's get to this game. DeMarcus Cousins is out. Who are you looking at from this team? Because let's be honest, these are two of the bottom 5 defenses in the league. We talk about the Lakers every day as one of the teams you have to look towards for daily fantasy sports.
Jonathan, I'm so excited for this game.
That's why we went to it first. We're going to spend a long time on this game.
There's so much to look at in this game.
Is it your boy? You looking to your boy?
Actually, I am looking to my boy.
His boy is IT2, Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, I absolutely love. He should have a great game tomorrow night. He should absolutely pick them apart. They're going to rely on him more for scoring with Cousins out. But I also love Rudy Gay, who can absolutely take charge, especially in favorable matchups when Cousins is out. He takes the responsibility on himself because, honestly, he's always been a guy that plays the smart game and doesn't get too trigger happy. But when he knows that he needs to provide the scoring, he puts up a lot of shots and gets involved as much as he can. I think he'll have a huge game tomorrow.
You know what the funny thing is? Isaiah Thomas and Rudy Gay are within $100 of each other's salary on StarFantasyLeagues.com. So if you want them, you're paying the same price either way.
Pick them both.
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem
I will
with
be
that.
picking them both.
What do you think about Jody Meeks? Because he actually put up
Why
some decent numbers yesterday.
Why are you still bringing up Jody Meeks? We told you the other day.
He was the leading scorer for the Lakers last night.
What else does he do? Go.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking
he
the
doesn't
question.
know either.
So for people like me who are looking at the box scores and say, look at Jody Meeks, he put up 22 points or something like that. Why are you not picking him?
Because that's basically all he does is fill the points
and if
category.
Jody Meeks isn't hitting threes, you're not going to get anything out of him.
Yeah, he's basically
he's a poor man's Kevin Martin.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's kind of like the JJ Redick. He's basically a spot shooter. That's what he does on the floor. I mean, he's not a guy that's all that fantasy relevant unless he's handling the ball. In which case,
he's a shooting guard in the truest sense of the word. He doesn't do anything else.
That's correct.
Well, is there anybody else on the Lakers besides Kent Bazemore who you're going to look at?
Yes, absolutely. I am looking hard at Pau Gasol, who has come off his injury more than enough to get his minutes ramped up, and with Cousins out, he should be the focal point of the offense all game. I don't see anyone tall enough, even close to capable of stopping him.
So right now you've suggested two guys around 16,000 and Pau Gasol who's 16,550. They're basically, you can build a very, very well-rounded lineup.
Yeah, absolutely.
With these
I mean, you're not looking at a guy that's 19 or 20. These are three guys that can produce in a high-scoring game as long as it stays close. Those type of points.
Yeah, these guys could
points.
They could all lead your team basically. If you need three guys that are scoring over 40 points, I think all three of those guys honestly could get you over 40. That's exactly what you need on StarFantasyLeagues.com to compete for the top prizes.
And I will be building my team around them.
This is very true. But like Seth did mention Kent Bazemore, again, as long as he is as low as he is on Star Fantasy Leagues, you have to get him in. Right now, he is only up to 32-37 because he spent the entire season averaging nothing per game. So gradually we're going to see him, as he continues to play, get up a little bit. But until he's up in the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 range, I'm taking him every day.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And you can't not.
You can't not. If he gets you 10 points tomorrow, you're going to make value on him easily.
He hasn't gotten, I think, less than 15.
But he'll get way more than that. He's got a lot of upside. He's a guy that has been trying to contribute in multiple stat columns and not just scoring. I think he's got huge upside tomorrow in a favorable matchup.
A couple steals yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fills it up. He does more than Jody Meeks.
He gets some assists. He gets a couple boards.
Especially if they play small ball. He plays the 4. I like that. I like it a lot.
This is going to be a stupid question. Please don't berate me too much.
Oh, good.
Is it Wesley Johnson or Wesley Matthews on the Lakers?
Wes Johnson.
Wes Johnson.
That's not a terrible question.
Wesley Matthews on the Trailblazers.
So
correct.
Wes Johnson, there was a Wes that was putting up some points yesterday. Is he fantasy relevant?
He had a pretty good game.
He's another guy that doesn't really fill the stat sheet. He's a shooter.
He does from time to time. The thing about Wes Johnson is he's very streaky, number one. And number two, his most advantageous games are when there are a significant amount of people out.
That's very true.
So if D'Antoni has enough people that he can plug in, if Wes has a bad few minutes, he'll take them right out. Which D'Antoni always does anyways.
Yeah. The only guy who has
but Wes Johnson is that type of guy where you can just get so frustrated with him that you don't want him in the game anymore. But when you don't have another option and he's got a favorable matchup, then it's a good time to put him in.
All right, so let's move on to any other games that you're interested in talking about because we got a couple minutes left. We spent almost the entire time talking about Sacramento, LA because I expect to get at least 4 players from that game in a matchup.
I'm a little interested in the Utah-Cleveland game, to be honest. The over/under isn't that high.
No.
But there are some definite favorable matchups.
Yeah, we don't know.
Game.
C.J. Miles might be out. Deion Waiters might still be out. Varejao might be out. So is that where you're going in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a close spread, and Cleveland's at home. I think Kyrie Irving, who has been playing off the chain the last couple games, who has a very favorable matchup against a young rookie in Trey Burke.
Trey Burke.
I think he could have a great game. I also love Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
Coming off a really good game. Cleveland close to at the bottom of the league against small forwards. I think he could have an awesome game.
What about someone like Trey Burke? You mentioned him. He has. We keep mentioning this all the time. Go against Kyrie Irving. That's pretty much been the thing we say almost every episode.
That has been the mantra. And Trey Burke is a guy that gets pretty streaky. Sometimes his salary goes up because he has a few good games in a row, and then it goes way down. It's hard to trust him. But if he's got good value, he's definitely worth.
He's only 11,420.
I think that's a little high for Burke. Honestly,
you're under around 10,000. You're cool with him.
Yeah, he has no problem kicking off the ball and letting everybody else do the work. From what I've seen.
What about someone like Spencer Hawes, who looked pretty good in his last game with Cleveland, and not to mention the whole Derek Favors and his Canner thing. We don't know how much Favors is playing. They're ranked 26th against centers. Hawes doesn't really play the traditional center role. He plays kind of a little bit out there. Maybe Favors isn't comfortable guarding a guy on the wing like that.
I mean, I think you could get it if you get a decent price for Hawes. I'm not sure what he's at, but if you get a decent price for him, then you're looking at a guy that can definitely produce. He's
around. He's just under 6.
I think that's
15,
a little.
15,000.
I think 15,000 is a little.
That's
risky
where he's been
for him.
camped at all season. Around 14 to 16.
Yeah, I think right now you'd want Hawes down in the maybe 13, 12, 5 range. But he's got the ability to produce. The big frustrating thing with him is that his limits get easily taken off the board. I mean, he's a guy that plays 30 minutes a game, and usually that's about the best that you're going to get out of him. So he's got to fit his minutes in those. I mean, he's got to fit his points in those minutes.
Another couple things I want to talk about. Unibrow might be out. He's having a shoulder issue. Tony Parker's probably still out. These are some big names that are not playing tomorrow night in a night where there's not that many big names. Who are you looking at from a big value, not value standpoint, but a big salary standpoint that you're interested in?
Bazemore's obviously a guy. I think the other big guy
big salary, like a guy at the top, yeah.
Well, I mean, I like Rudy Gay a lot. I think David Lee could have a good game against his old team. What do you think, Seth?
Well, I think with Anthony Davis out, we saw last night Alexis Ajinka, or I don't know how you say
something
his name.
Like that, yeah.
He came in and he actually played fantastic. He looked great.
He's some value to be had if Brow doesn't play.
Yeah, if Anthony Davis is going to be out for more than a game or two, I think this is a really good plug and play, especially where Ajinka's value is at. And he's definitely going to be putting up points. He's a big man at 7'2".
Yeah, and at the same token, keep an eye on Dragic tomorrow night because if he is out, Ish Smith is a guy that can go off, and he's got a pretty favorable.
All right, Zach, who's your play of the day? I know you want to do it.
My play of the night for tomorrow night, Friday, is Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay, the most frustrating man in fantasy sports. When we come back from the break, we are wrapping the Star Fantasy League show up. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
The stream might be
Fantasy
totally
League
different.
Show
All right,
is
stand by.
now part of the Nick Monsanto Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
You're up.
Right now. We have all the leading updates and scores and fantasy knowledge. What is he talking about?
I'm sad.
Does anybody know what the voiceover guy is talking
Is
about?
everybody still listening? Isn't it time for them to turn off their radio?
I don't want Seth to leave. I know that I hate on him so much, but I'll miss him.
Yeah.
He's my big Teddy.
I am a lovable teddy bear.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Every time Nick Stablenko is back on the show, Zach gets so excited because he gets to hug him and touch him.
Yeah, he's like
during
my
the show.
double Teddy.
Well, Nick brings beer to the show.
This is very true. Tomorrow's
party on the show.
Friday's
He's a
Star
party
Fantasy
animal.
League show will feature beer drinking. If you watch our live stream on YouTube, we apparently drink during the show because that's not going to get us fired from the air.
Beer!
Our producer Scott was just telling him that he's hiding a keg underneath his desk.
Yeah, that is true. That actually happened.
Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. Benjamin Franklin.
Excellent.
That may
Who
be
had quite a festive beer gut, may I say.
That may be the truest quote I've ever heard. All right, guys, we're heading into Friday, which is the best day for NBA fantasy on StarFantasyLeagues.com. What do we got going on for the rest of the week? What do we got in way of free value for our listeners? Because, honestly, they're listening for a reason. They want to start playing daily fantasy sports only on StarFantasyLeagues.com, right?
How about
That's
if
the
you
only place?
tweet at us? We'll give you a free $5.
Don't tweet at us.
Well, hold on. So if you all you have to do is send a tweet to @SFL Show.
Just sign up to the site, and we will put $5 in your account.
If any of you can get your laptops out of the bathtub, send us a tweet at SFL Show, and I will just begrudgingly stare at the screen and scowl.
Yeah, Seth will personally email you,
and
too.
if you sign up with your email, Seth will try to be your friend.
You'll get a free $5 credit at StarFantasyLeagues.com if you're eligible. We also have $2,000 guaranteed for Friday.
Over 2,000.
It's going to be a great day for fantasy basketball. We have the new Turbo games for you to check out. Free rolls every single day. There's a lot going on in Star Fantasy Leagues. It's time for you to sign up and stay in the loop with us.
There's so much fun to be had. Don't miss out. And create a league and bring your friends
That
into
is
it
true.
and school
You
them.
can create custom leagues with your friends. If you don't want to play with new people, just play with your friends. Your
Seth's
family.
not my friend, but I school him every
And you
night.
don't have to worry about collecting money from your friends. We can escrow for you.
We do everything on the site. It's the best way to get involved in daily fantasy sports. And if you guys don't know who Alex Ajinka is, we'll help you make a better lineup next time. Take it easy, guys.
Get nah.
Good show, guys. We'll see you for the Friday edition.